.686 miles. That's 5/8 of a mile. And the purse, an impressive $109,208. A great field on hand tonight and a tremendous crowd tonight. But last night they had a big crowd as well. Because of the popularity of the Kroger NASCAR 200 this year, Bob Daniels decided to make it a two-day show. Allow the drivers to come in a day earlier and sign autographs. Tommy Houston and other veteran drivers, including Davey Allison and some of the Winston Cup regulars, on hand for that session. And then last night, qualifying first round, and Rick Mass loops it out of turn 2, trying to get his best lap in, but it was to no avail. They were all chasing this man, the car number 25, the Crown Fast Fair Oldsmobile, setting a track record at 110 miles an hour. Then they were getting set for more action, but Morgan Shepherd puts the roller skates on and puts on quite a show. The three-time NASCAR Kroger winner here at IRP and Winston Cup competitor did his disco roller skating routine before a standing audience who were cheerful and applauding watching this young man perform. And then these men perform for the CarQuest Pit Crew Championships, the first time ever competition for Busch Series crew members. This is LD Ottinger's crew, led by Elvin Rector, changing 2 tires, adding fuel, and cleaning the windshield in 16.284 seconds. Looked to be the fastest time of the night. An efficient effort. Now, other teams weren't quite so lucky. Here, the car number 34, trying to change tires. Jack Sprague's crew. Now watch the right front tire man trips and falls, and Sprague alertly jumps on the brakes, keeps running over his crew member, and then pulls away. But the best effort of the night, the veteran John Irvin led Nestle's Crunch crew for Dale Jarrett. Changing 2 tires, Kenny Knupp the right front tire. Irvin will pull the jack and Jarrett will pull away in 15.901 seconds. And Irvin, standing with the CarQuest people, gets the $2,000 winning award. And Dale Jarrett's crew takes the accolades last night at IRP. And Dale Jarrett getting ready to climb aboard his Nestle's Pontiac, and he will have his work cut out for him tonight. He will start back in 23rd spot. Now, tires, always a concern for any short track event. And in NASCAR Busch Series racing over the years, they've had a tire rule that on the short tracks, you're not allowed to change tires at all under the yellow flag to try to limit cost, or else you get a 2-lap penalty. But how about it tonight? Let's check in on pit road with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, the rule is there's no rule. You can change as many tires as you want tonight. And folks, when the caution flag comes out the first time and these cars duck into pit road, you're going to see something very unusual. Some of the cars will go down this pit road, a normal pit road. Other cars will go around back of there about 30 feet away down and pit alongside those other cars. There's even 3 cars in a third lane. Kyle Petty, Larry Pearson, and the 28 car of Davey Allison making a third lane of pits. I'm going to have my work cut out for me, Jerry, trying to find all these cars.
Thank you very much, Benny. It should be quite a night, and that pit action will be very exciting, and you'll be running up and down, covering it all here on ESPN. Let's take a look at our Sears Die Hard starting grid. The front row, the veteran Jimmy Hensley and the rookie driver from Imperial, Pennsylvania. An impressive run for Davey Johnson. Back in row 2, Elton Sawyer looking to pick up that win in Busch Series competition, and a man who was 1 year before, the veteran Tommy Houston. Back to row 3, starting 5th, the man with a hot hand on the series, 5 wins in the past 3 months, Chuck Bown inside, and Jamie Obi, the driver who leads the Busch North Tour, will start 6th. Back in row 4, Kenny Wallace, younger brother of reigning Winston Cup champion Rusty Wallace, and the veteran 2-time series champion of the old late model sportsman ranks, LD Ottinger. Back in row 5, Bobby Hamilton, a young man who ran so well last year as a rookie, and a former series champion here, Tommy Ellis. But we'll take a look at the remaining starting field here in the Sears Die Hard starting grid. We'll show you back through the field, 36 cars in all. We'll start here, Dave Mader along with Rick Mast in row 6, Davey Allison and Dale Earnhardt in all Winston Cup, row 7. Back in row 8, Ed Ferree and Michael Waltrip, winner of this race a year ago. Back to row 9, Steve Grissom, who won last week, and Kyle Petty, a very strong effort yesterday in practice. Back to row 10, Morgan Shepherd and rookie driver Jeff Burton. Back in row 11, Robert Presley, who won the qualifying event along with Bobby Labonte. Back to row 12, Dale Jarrett and Joe Nemechek, an impressive rookie on the series this year. Back to row 13, starting in 25th spot, Ernie Irvin and then Ed Barrier. Row 14, back in the field, Kenny Schrader and Dave Resendez, one of the northern drivers making a trek down south. Row 15, Tom Peck and Jeff Spraker coming down from the open wheel competition. Row 16, Bobby Dotter and the 5-time national champion Jack Ingram. Back in row 17, Jack Sprague and the only lady driver in the field, Patty Moise. And in the final 18th row, Billy Standridge and the former 2-time series champion Larry Pearson. We'll be back with the star of the NASCAR Kroger 200 from Indianapolis Raceway Park after this message from our sponsor.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan.
Indianapolis Raceway Park, the current Busch Series point standings. Chuck Bown, the man with a hot hand, has a point lead, 317 points. And Chuck Bown in the Nescafe Pontiac will start in third spot tonight. The 36-year-old driver whose best finish here 8th a year ago. But what a difference a year makes for that driver. We'll be riding inside with the CarQuest Cage Cam. And that is the pole sitter's car. 44-year-old Jimmy Hensley from Ridgeway, Virginia, a former winner here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And what an effort Hensley had yesterday in qualifying. A brand new one-lap track record, 110.260 miles per hour. That's the record for the Crown Fast Fair Oldsmobile, and he will lead the charge. 36 cars, 18 rows. The 9th annual visit for the NASCAR Kroger 200 to the 5/8 mile Indianapolis Raceway Park. Under the lights here, and we welcome you here to our Speed World coverage. Tremendous racing action on hand here. Crowd on his feet at Indianapolis Raceway Park, getting ready for the green flag. The field out of turn 4, led by the veteran Jimmy Hensley. Green flag waves, and Hensley pulls away toward turn 1. Racing corners out of turn 1. Jamie Obey trying to make a move, but then Hensley has the lead. Hensley over the rookie driver, Davey Johnson. An impressive qualifying performance for that 26-year-old driver from Imperial, Pennsylvania. But they are battling 2 by 2 back in the pack. Hensley will lead the first lap. A move inside. The car number 41 on the right of your screen. That is Jamie Obey, the Busch Grand National North Series point leader. The field now doubling up out of turn 2. Single file down the back straightaway, trying to get racing room. A lot of veteran Winston Cup competitors back in the pack, and they're chasing these two guys. And Davey Johnson is not going to give up early, Dan.
No, he isn't. He's running very strong here in the early part of the race, Jerry. No more experience than he has with these Busch Grand National drivers.
Back in the pack, Dale Earnhardt starting way back in the 14th spot, trying to make his way up through the pack. He is now currently shown in the Goodrich Chevrolet in 10th spot, moving on the Rick Mast car. Mast in the left of your screen. That is the white blue room car number 22, the Buick for the veteran series driver. That is Mast. He is in 9th. Earnhardt is in 10th, headed to turn 1, single file. Number 99 car, that is Tommy Ellis, the former series champion, just behind Earnhardt.
Jerry, this is a very tough racetrack to pass on, as Benny Parsons pointed out at the top of the show. They run right up next to the outside of the wall in the middle of the turn, and it's a little flatter down on the inside. Very hard to get traction down there, but we do see some cars back in the pack. They're running side by side, but now the front runners are all running single file.
Well, inclement weather today prevented these drivers like Dale Earnhardt from getting practice, but Earnhardt was up in Michigan to run the IROC race. He was unable to be here this afternoon for any practice session, so his car did not get a chance to get on the track today whatsoever. He is trying to get this car dialed in early on, and having trouble now moving in on Rick Mast.
And there's trouble up in turn 4.
Davey Allison has spun his car out of turn 4. One car sliding through there. That's the car number 17 of Larry Pearson driving the Superflow Chevrolet. The 08 car, Bobby Dotter involved. He's got some sheet metal lamps on the right front. There's the 5-time national champion Jack Ingram showing a lot of smoke from his car. Now Pearson pulls away, gets the Superflow Chevrolet fired. These cars were trying to spin to look like to avoid the spinning car of Davey Allison.
I'll tell you, when a car gets in trouble here, Jerry, there's not a lot of room to maneuver. There's lots of room, but to keep a car under control and maneuver around other cars that are in trouble is tough to do. So you don't see many single car wrecks on this racetrack, especially early in the race.
No one lost a lap up there. One car spinning, the heaviest damaged of all the cars coming towards you right now. That's Bobby Dotter, the son of the 3-time ARCA Series champion, Bob Dotter. And now Bobby Dotter, who runs the Busch Series on a regular basis in his car number 08. He started back in the 31st spot, 30 years of age, from Chicago, Illinois, having some sheet metal damage, and he will wait to get the pit road open, and they will come around behind the pace car, and possibly he will duck on to get some of that sheet metal cut away. There's a look at Bobby Dotter, who had a great effort in Busch Series racing a couple of years ago, and then was burned in a crash at Daytona and had to sit out for most of the year, and came back this year and has been running stronger and stronger week after week. We are early on here in the Kroger NASCAR 200. Caution for the first time today for the spinning car of Davey Allison up in turn 4. Jimmy Hensley leads it. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
ESPN and Quaker Stadium.
Car number 41, that's Elton Sawyer in the 27, and Houston may get hung out to dry on the bottom of the racetrack.
He just might do it. Normally, you get hung out to dry when you're on the outside, Jerry, but down on the inside here is not the place to be. Houston having trouble getting traction. Now he gets back in line.
Single file back to turn 1. Tommy Houston having to fall back in line. There is Dale Earnhardt to car number 3. Now Earnhardt had started that car back in the 14th spot. Is moving up in the 10th now. He's just behind the car number 22 of Rick Mast.
Hensley has been able to get about a 5-car length lead over Davey Johnson.
Davey Johnson now getting closed in on by a couple of cars. That is the car number 27 of Elton Sawyer, the A.G. Dillard owned machine. About a 4-car length separation. They are single file. The car number 36, that is Kenny Wallace, moving up, picking them off one by one. Jimmy Hensley pulling away now, opening up to about 6 car lengths. Davey Johnson holding on. Impressive run for this young driver. His best run of the year. There's the man they're chasing, 44-year-old Jimmy Hensley. Up the back straightaway, single file. There is Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. And behind him, a young man who is hard to intimidate, Tommy Ellis, one of the short track competitors from the South who has run so well in this series, a former series champion.
Yeah, he's quite an intimidator himself, and right behind him was the Michael Waltrip car, so 3 strong cars running together as we're back up front now with Jimmy Hensley. That car handling beautifully, Jerry.
In the early laps, Hensley, of course, having it all go his way. There is Dale Earnhardt's car slipping up high. Tommy Ellis trying to move to the inside. A lot of experience. That's Earnhardt in the car number 3. Tommy Ellis, the Goo Goo Clusters Buick. And, of course, the Pontiac, the defending winner of this Kroger NASCAR 200. The car number 30, the Kool-Aid Pontiac of Michael Waltrip.
Well, we've seen a bump a little bit there as Ellis trying to get by Earnhardt. Well, Michael Waltrip trying to get by Ellis. Some real tight running, but those are 3 very good race drivers, and one on different types of tracks in Busch Grand National competition. Here's Kenny Wallace making the move down on the inside, trying to pass L.D. Ottinger. Let's see if he can do it. That's tough to do this early in the race, and no, he could not make it work.
Kenny Wallace trying to move down to the inside. And he was running.
And here comes Tommy Ellis on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. Now, he don't mind doing a little bit of rooting and shoving if he needs to. Earnhardt goes high, gives Ellis running room down on the inside. Let's see if he can hang on now as he goes into turn 1.
Tommy Ellis trying to keep the car pulled to the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt stays back in the throttle up high. The high groove is where the momentum is. Earnhardt now running door-to-door to Ellis, but Ellis will have the advantage in turn 3. And no, Earnhardt jumps back in the throttle, and Ellis says, my turn, out of turn 4. They are still door-to-door.
Michael Waltrip don't know which one to follow, Jerry. He knows that the inside groove is tough to pass on, but he sees what Tommy Ellis is able to do down there on the inside, at least staying side by side with Earnhardt, so he just doesn't know which way to go.
And they are moving in on Kenny Wallace and company just in front of them, but Ellis now trying to get the advantage. A very, very difficult racetrack. You heard Benny Parsons mention it is a 1-groove track, and if you make it a 2-groove track, you may get hung out to dry. Tommy Ellis is trying to get around, but he cannot pass Dale Earnhardt. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, we're watching Jack Ingram's crew working on the left rear axle. In the action up in turn 4, someone hit the tire in the left rear, and they feel like they have a broken axle. They can't get the axle out to find out if it's broken or not. Spending a lot of time in the pit.
Tough break for Jack Ingram, the 5-time national champion, but Earnhardt now is on the move. He has moved underneath L.D. Ottinger, and Ottinger has slid back behind Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip, and now Tommy Ellis trying to move to the inside of the veteran L.D. Ottinger. Ellis in the car number 99. Those are red cars, red and black, almost identical paint jobs with some reversal of the black and red. Ellis on the inside trying to move by the L.D. Ottinger car.
Well, it looked like that inside groove is going to work for Ellis this time, but it didn't work for him, Jerry, when he was trying to pass Dale Earnhardt. In fact, he lost 2 or 3 positions. Michael Waltrip got by him, and Earnhardt too, of course. There's Ottinger getting a little bit sideways in the car number 2, while Dave Mater III in car number 56 comes up on him. And there's Morgan Shepherd in the yellow and white car trying to make a move.
That's back in the 11th spot back there. That is the 11th that LD Ottinger, or actually Ottinger now back to 12th spot as he's been passed by Tommy Ellis. And Tommy Houston's car number 6 is slow on the inside.
Well, let's take a lap around this racetrack and see how Jimmy Hensley maneuvers now. He's come down the front straightaway across the start-finish line, dips down a little bit going into turn 1, and then you can see him go up next to the wall. You can see some cars have already hit that wall, and then drifts out again, going down the backstretch into turn 3, and you'll come down about the center of the racetrack, let it drift out again, and there's caution on the track.
Got a crash on the front straightaway. One car has tagged the wall. That is the car number 69 that has come to rest at the far end of the front stretch. A tough break for Jeff Spraker, the Latham, New York driver in the Spraker Racing Oldsmobile. Former open-wheel modified competitor. Now gets the car fired, but has a lot of sheet metal damage pushed in against the rear tires. The car moving, but we are under caution for the second time today. Now, this is a tough break for Spraker, but it may be a break, Ned, for Tommy Houston, who just made an unscheduled pit stop.
Could be. We had noticed that Houston had slowed down. In fact, you made mention of it, and he had just come into the pits, but when the caution came out, he came back out, and I think he stayed in the lead lap. We'll have to check that as we watch Spraker's car go around the racetrack, but Houston is at the tail end of the line, so yes, if he stayed in the lead lap, that certainly would be a break for him.
And there is Tommy Houston in the Roses Buick, a competitive Busch Series veteran. Tommy Houston at 45 years of age has run so well this year, has 4 wins to his credit. And we will check momentarily with what happened to Tommy Houston. We are under caution for the second time today at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Jimmy Hensley leads the way. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Pit stop. I'm with Don Miller, the engine builder on the car. Don, what seems to be the problem?
Front seal on the transmission is gone. It's putting grease in on the clutch disc and causing it to slip.
So the clutch is slipping?
Yes, sir.
Is he going to be able to run at top speed, or?
No, I don't. Right now, we don't know how to fix that.
Oh, one of the top runners out, Jerry.
Tough break for Tommy Houston, currently 4th in the point standings. Back to Green Flag Racing, and Jimmy Hensley, who set the track record at over 110 miles an hour, pulls away. And impressive, just as impressive as Hensley's run, is running in second spot, young Davey Johnson, the rookie driver this year on the tour, for the first time running the full tour. And there we are inside, looking out of the back of Hensley's Oldsmobile in our CarQuest Cage Cam. And you get a good look at the front of the Buick, the Daly's Fruit Juices Buick of Davey Johnson.
You can see the cars behind them are pretty well in single file.
Running right up next to the wall, and there's a battle back in the pack, and that's Morgan Shepherd creeping up there to the right of your picture, the car number 9, the Texas Pete Sausage Chevrolet. And we'll show you last year's winner. That's the Kool-Aid Pontiac of Michael Waltrip. Michael Waltrip, having started way back in the field in the car number 30 and 16th spot. In the Country Time Drake Lynch's Pontiac, that's the Ronnie Silver prepared car. There he is to the left of your screen. Waltrip now trying to move inside. Elton Sawyer in the car number 27. Sawyer now trying to hold him off in the Buick, but Waltrip takes the spot.
Hey, Waltrip is looking pretty strong here, Jerry. Of course, he knows how to get around this racetrack, as evidenced by his win last year. Making some very good moves and picking them off sort of when he comes to them. He has to work them. As we said earlier, you've got to work somebody to get them around him on this racetrack. But if you have a good handling race car, you can do it, and he's showing that you can.
Well, he is currently in 7th spot. Then Waltrip in the 7th position, trying to move in on Kenny Wallace in 6th. Now Kenny just in front of him for a second.
Here's Kenny Wallace in the green and white car that Michael Waltrip is coming up on now. Waltrip running a very good line around this track. Rick Mast in the blue and white, car number 22 up in front of them. So good racing everywhere. You can see how close the cars are running in single file. Michael Waltrip now trying to size up Kenny Wallace in the car number 36 in front of him, but Wallace running very strong himself.
Michael Waltrip running back in the 7th spot. That is Kenny Wallace, the green number 36 and 6th. And of course, Rick Mast in the 5th place. Mast is starting back in the field. A good run for Rick Mast. The Kool-Aid colors of Michael Waltrip. The car he won with last year. In fact, he destroyed in a spectacular crash on ESPN at Bristol, Tennessee early in the year. So Ronnie Silver and the crew rebuilt the car for the short tracks, and it is coming to bear tonight here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Michael Waltrip trying to move in on Kenny Wallace. Michael Waltrip, who won here a year ago, likes this racetrack. He thinks that possibly he's had some good breaks up here, and again tonight he is having a good run at this 5/8 mile asphalt facility. Michael Waltrip thinks he's been pretty lucky at this racetrack. How about it, Mike? You've had some good luck at IRP, haven't you?
This still's been real good for me. I started my Busch career right here in 1988. It was my first ever Busch Grand National start. 2 races later, I won my first Busch race at Dover in Darrell's car. We won here last year, and we've already won 2 this year. So it's a nice deal for me to be able to be in a race car and be winning while I'm still trying to conquer the big deal on Sunday.
Michael Waltrip, who would like to make it 2 in a row up here. He became the first driver in IRP history to win from Busch Series competition from the pole, although Jimmy Hensley might do it again tonight. We will take you back in the pack and pick up the 3-time winner here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Morgan Shepherd, now driving the car number 9, the Mike Swain owned Texas Pete Sausage Chevrolet. Shepherd has agreed to drive this car in 16 races thus far this year, Dan, and he has 2 pretty good finishes, 4th at Nazareth and 4th at New Hampshire.
Yes, he has helped that team considerably, Jerry. They were having some handling problems with their cars, and there's no one in auto racing, in my opinion, that knows more about the chassis of a race car than Morgan Shepherd. So he brought a good bit to the table other than his tremendous driving ability in this series.
On other short track events, Ward Burton, a rookie driver and the older brother of Jeff Burton, drives the car. But even though Morgan did not qualify that well back in 19th spot, he is running better and better, currently being shown in the 12th spot.
There's Kyle Petty right behind him with the new color on the car number 42 and the new sponsor on it.
That's the Split Fire spark plugs. Of course, they were sponsored by Ames. Of course, for legal reasons, the Ames department store people unable to continue their sponsorship. They are in Chapter 11. And Split Fire came on board with that Ted Condor-owned team, and Kyle Petty has run very, very well. One of the better cars in practice earlier yesterday and today. He did not qualify that well, but is expected to be strong late in the race.
The car seems to be handling very well. Many of these drivers just sort of checking out the competition. They want to run hard so they won't lose a lap, because they know Jimmy Hensley's out front running very hard, and they want to get as far up front as they possibly can, so when they make a pit stop, they'll have good track position.
Kyle Petty back in 14th. Right behind him is Steve Grissom in the car number 31. Then Dale Jarrett, and Jarrett now sliding a little bit as they're trying to move by the slowed car. Tommy Houston, of course, having made the unscheduled pit stop. You heard that report from the pits a little bit ago with Benny Parsons and Don Miller. And there is Dale Jarrett, whose crew won that first annual CarQuest Pit Crew competition last night. A little over 15 seconds, and Jarrett now running back in the pack.
He is in 17th position now, Jerry. He started in 23rd position.
Dale Jarrett slowly but surely picking him off, and a pretty good pack to be in. That's Kyle Petty in the car number 41, Steve Grissom in the 31, and Grissom coming off his first ever Busch Series win a week ago at Pulaski, Virginia, up in Dublin, Virginia, Pulaski Speedway, we should say. And he's trying to move inside of Kyle Petty. That's for the 14th spot. Jimmy Hensley showing the way back up front, and Hensley is literally pulling away in the Crown Fast Fair Oldsmobile. A tremendous day for the 44-year-old Ridgeway, Virginia driver. Jimmy Hensley becoming the second driver to lead them all. We'd like to do it here. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Racetrack on a Saturday night at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and they are really putting on the show here before a capacity crowd. Dale Jarrett in the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac trying to move inside. LD Ottinger in the car number 2. That is Ernie Irvin in the black and orange numeral car number 75. Jarrett's car got a little bit loose then, and he got past.
Yeah, he was down on the inside. He had made a number of passes on the outside, Jerry, but he got down on the inside, and that's a tough way to try to get around this racetrack, and he got loose and lost the position. Boy, that is some kind of racing going on between all of these drivers. That's Bobby Hamilton in car number 8 on the outside. Joe Nemechek in car number 87 pulling up on Kyle Petty. And here Jarrett once again, he's going to try that inside on LD Ottinger. It didn't work for him earlier. Let's see if it'll work this time. Yep, I believe he's going to make it work this time.
Jarrett trying to move to the inside of the Detroit Gasket Oldsmobile of Ottinger, and he will take the spot away. And Jarrett had to run the qualifying race. Now Robert Presley in the car number 59. Presley in the Alliance Training Center machine, who won the qualifier to get into tonight's field. Cannot quite get by the Ottinger machine. Here comes Kyle Pitt to the outside. The car number 42, the Split Fire Spark Plug Pontiac.
Boy, I tell you, when an opening comes on the outside, they jump in there, Jerry. Sometimes it looks like there isn't room for a race car out there between another car and the wall, but they jump out there just as quickly as they possibly can because it still is the fast way around this racetrack.
There's Dale Jarrett in the car number 32. Had some impressive runs early in the year. They are still single file. That is Presley now as Nemechek has gone by him. Let's go back inside the Crown Racing Machine here, the Oldsmobile of Jimmy Hensley coming up on lap traffic in our CarQuest cage cam. Let's see if Hensley can get by, see if he'll make it two abreast, trying to get by the car number 69 of Jeff Spraker.
Well, he has been able to run out front most of the time, Jerry, and build a big lead, but now he's having to work traffic. And here is Bobby Hamilton, an unscheduled pit stop for him. He was one of the drivers we saw just a moment ago in that 7-car battle.
Kip McCord and the crew, that's Bobby Hamilton, a former track champion at the Nashville Fairgrounds Raceway, an impressive young driver who was tabbed last year to drive, remember, one of the movie cars at Phoenix for Hendrick and qualified the car in the top 10. So an impressive driver having his troubles tonight. One driver who's having it go all his way is Jimmy Hensley. Pole-sitting record time at over 110 miles an hour, and he is literally picking them off one by one, now back in the field. Big battle back here. Elton Sawyer in the car number 27. Then comes Steve Grissom, the 31. Dave Maynard, the third. Now, he is driving the car that's formerly driven by Ronald Cooper. It's owned by the Cooper family, the car number 56. Dave Maynard, the third, a 4-time NASCAR All-American Challenge Series champion. And he is now in the Busch Series competition, just getting started a few weeks ago and doing pretty well, Ned.
Yes, he's doing a great job. No question about it. There's Morgan Shepherd trying to go by him on the outside. Now you can see Dale Jarrett has caught up to that crowd. He just got out of one big pack of cars and comes up on another.
Great racing back in the pack. That is back for the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th place runs. That is the Dave Maynard car number 56 back there. The 75 is Ernie Irvin and Dale Jarrett moving down to the inside. He's going to follow a fellow. Whoa, and Irvin cuts down to Jarrett and jams on the brakes.
Boy, he was lucky to get out of that. That was a real tight situation. There's Tommy Ellis now trying to come back on the inside of Jarrett after Jarrett slid there for a little bit.
Ernie Irvin able now to get around Elton Sawyer in the car number 27. Jarrett now back in single file. Now Jarrett gets a run at Sawyer coming out of turn 2. Will try to make it too wide as he just gets a nose underneath him going to 3.
Looks like Sawyer's car is a little bit loose, Jerry. He started up in 3rd position, but has drifted back through the field as Jarrett does make the pass. And Tommy Ellis, of course, who started in the 10th position, has drifted back as well.
Dale Jarrett currently being shown in 13th spot, and that 14th is Elton Sawyer. Tommy Ellis trying to take the 14th spot away. Back on the inside, Ellis is the car number 99. 1988 Busch Series national champion. Ellis caught on the inside, and he gets passed by L.D. Ottinger.
Well, there again, he got caught down on that inside. Here's Kyle Petty trying to come by up on the outside. And look at Kyle. It just doesn't look like there's room for a race car on the outside, but he goes out there. Ellis gives him the running room. Here's Nemechek coming by Ellis on the outside. There's Robert Presley, car number 59. He'll try to make the pass as well. Great racing. What, about 10 cars in that pack?
Now this is racing back for 16th, 17th, and 18th spot. I mean, a tremendous feeling. Now you know why the people come out and stand in line and buy these tickets and buy them early. A sellout here at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the last few years for Busch Grand National Series racing at its finest. They put on one well of a show here. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons on the Bobby Hamilton story. Benny.
Jerry, I don't know what's wrong with the car, and neither does Bobby Hamilton. They've looked all around. They looked under the car. They've looked inside the engine, and now there's a man inside the car trying to figure out why the car won't run. As soon as they stop working on it, I'll try to find out myself.
Bobby Hamilton sitting in the car, leaning on his left arm with the helmet there, trying to say, I wish I could be out there, guys, and what a disappointment for the driver from Nashville, Tennessee. They're still going at it back in the pack there. The leader, Jimmy Hensley, making it look easy. Hensley, a former winner here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Back years ago, Hensley won in 1985. The only race run without a caution flag, and he is showing the way here at IR action to come your way. Stay tuned. On the way, he won here in 1985, but he is having a great night again, having set on the pole, but this battle is right in front of the leader. This group of 7 or 8 cars back and forth, inside and outside, as Robert Presley just slides up in front of Elton Sawyer, and now L.D. Ottinger in the car number 2 will try to go beneath Sawyer. These drivers, Ned, have seen the leader coming.
Yes, they have. They've been told by their pit crew, hey, the leader's coming up. You don't want to go a lap down, so you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be scrambling to stay out in front. Now, here comes Hensley. You can see him. He's the blue and white car right at the back of that pack. As Tommy Ellis comes into the pits, he just went a lap down. But here's Hensley. That's a tough crew to lap. He just went around Kenny Schrader, and look at that pack in front of him that he has to go around.
Our CarQuest cage cam, he is fighting to turn that wheel. He's got to be very careful. The Penrose car in front of Hensley.
Caution is out.
And we have a yellow flag. Debris on the racetrack, as you said, Ned. And Jimmy Hensley was just trying to get around Kenny Schrader.
Well, he had already passed Schrader, but Schrader beat him back to the start-finish line and got back in the lead lap.
Caution for the 3rd time tonight. Debris on the racetrack, and Jimmy Hensley has got to be smiling inside that Fast Fair Oldsmobile, the Bobby King prepared car.
We have run about a third of this race now, Jerry. It'll be interesting to see if anyone comes into the pits. The pit is closed right now until the pace car gets out and picks up Jimmy Hensley.
Now remember, it's a 200-lap race, Ned, and according to these are V6 engines, 274 cubic inch engines with the 390 carburetors. Now, many of the crew chiefs are figuring they could go about 150 laps on fuel. We are at 66 laps right now. What do they do?
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on how their car is handling, and as far as the tires are concerned, that'll make the decision as far as whether they come into the pits or not, depending on how their tires are doing.
Jimmy Hensley showing the way here in the Fast Fair Oldsmobile on the early laps here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Caution for the 3rd time today. We'll be back with pit stops and more action after this.
What could this off-road vehicle possibly have in common with this off-road vehicle? The same quality filter protection you can give your car from Purolator, the world's largest filter company.
Oh, the of athlete's foot. Desenex stops the itch and burn of athlete's foot fast, and your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So the next time your athlete's foot begins to stop it fast with Desenex.
The Quaker State King Racing Buick, winner of the 1989 Die Hard Award for the most tough NASCAR miles, is winning again in 1990 as Brett Bodine takes first in the first Union 400. It takes a tough oil to keep a car running this tough, and it takes a tough driver to step right in, step on it, and win. But number 26 is one tough car. Brett Bodine is one tough driver, and Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, under caution for the 3rd time tonight for debris on the racetrack, and they will make the entry onto pit road.
Tony and Dale said, what's wrong with the car? Well, we're having a tire problem. We listened to 2 right-side tires while ago. We wasn't expecting to have a problem. So we just put on 2 when we should put on 4, I guess. We got blistered the left side now, I guess. We just holding on.
Wow, we've got blistered tires here. Jerry, back to you.
Well, a lot of people in the pit, some of the Busch Series crew chiefs predicted that left side tires would be more critical than right side because of the flat racetrack, Ned.
Well, yes, there is, and the caution is on the track, on Speedway. Caution is out.
Leader has been tagged down in turn 1. Tough break for Rick Mast. He has come into heavy contact down there with the car number 69. That is the Jeff Spraker machine. Jeff Spraker involved in a caution early on, and we'll watch. Now, that is Rick Mast, and he has got to be pounding the steering wheel as he gets involved trying to get by a slower car. Rick Mast, misfortune continues. There's the Spraker car. His Oldsmobile having come to rest against the wall in turn 1. That he had problems earlier, was involved in a spin. Let's take a look, Ned, what happened.
Okay, Rick Mast trying to put a lap on Spraker as they go down into turn 1. Now, he's going to go to the outside, and Spraker loses the car. I don't believe Mast hit him, but he spins right in front of Rick Mast, nowhere to go. He spins right up into the groove, and both of them hit the wall, and the sparks fly.
Boy, if Rick Mast didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any at all. What a tough break for Rick Mast. I mean, absolutely. Spraker had an ill-handling car that had already tagged the wall once, and the youngster who is trying to get it's only his first season running in the Busch Series, coming from the modified ranks down from New York, and he is a very likable young man. He lost his father last year, his father who was his inspiration in racing, and his dad had told him, if I'm not here, son, go south and make it on the pavement in NASCAR. That's what he was trying to do. And a tough break for Spraker, and a tougher break, really, for our leader, Rick Mast, who has some damage in the front of his Buick.
Yes, I'm sure that he'll be able to continue, Jerry, but maybe not at the pace that he has been running.
Mast now, the pits have not been open, so he cannot get on the pit road. A lot of sheet metal damage. The crew now will be trying to work. A couple of years ago, he was running so well at Daytona, and there he is, a likable driver, one of the people who is one of the most best-liked drivers, I should say, in the pits of all the Busch Series competitors. In fact, a lot of rumors about him having a Winston Cup ride for 1991. The pits are open, and it's feeding time at the zoo, Ned. They're all on pit road.
Yes, everybody coming in, and I'm sure that most of them are going to be putting left side tires on those cars. Now we see Chuck Bown, they're changing the right side tires. Probably will be changing left side tires as well. They'll probably go ahead and make a four-tire change while they're in this time.
And again, to the right of your screen, there's a pit road on the back part of the pits. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
We can see that heavy damage to the front of the Rick Mast Raven Boats Buick. And I was watching Jeff Spraker went in the corner. Jerry, it looked like he cut a tire or something. They're having all kinds of problems getting the nose off. There's some wire from some brake duct. They have to get something to try to cut that. Otherwise, he's going to drag this nose all the way around the racetrack. Also trying to get the fender off the right front. Meanwhile, the pace car is coming off turn 4. If they don't hurt, they're going to be lapped. Still working on the right front. Here comes the pace car. Still working on it. And they are going to go a lap down. What a tough night for Rick Mast, Jerry.
Well, his misfortune here at IRP continues. The crew there, Man Apperson and Timmy Jones, the rest of the Raven Boats crew trying to work, but it's no use sending back out, Ned, and have a fender cut another tire down or possibly cut a brake line or something. They must complete that work. And, of course, the NASCAR official, the Busch official standing there watching the work and even getting some help from some of the other crews, the Detroit Gasket crew there. Looks like Elvin Rector and L.D. Ottinger's crew trying to help out a fellow competitor. They know what an outstanding run Mast was having, and everyone was hoping maybe his bad luck in Busch Series racing would come to an end tonight, but that's not the case. A tough break here. The latest caution for that spin down in turn 1, and of course nowhere to go for Rick Mast.
Well, he goes back out now. He is just one lap down, but I don't think that car is going to be driving as good as it was before, because that right front wheel doesn't look like that it's towed the right way.
Let's take a look at the leaderboard here after the 5th caution flag of the night at this sold-out Raceway Park. Steve Grissom, who won a week ago, back up front here. Ernie Irvin, who had trouble getting in the field, even had to run the qualifying race, now being shown in 2nd spot. Dave Mater III, a 4-time All-American Challenge Series champion. And we have trouble in the pits. Michael Waltrip's car trying to get out of the pits, and apparently he has had a wheel come off and his car backing up pit roads. And if you see the sparks from beneath the car, last year's winner, the defending champion of the NASCAR Kroger 200. Let's check in with Benny Parsons. BP.
That's exactly what happened, Jerry. They were changing the left side, and they did not get the lug nuts on the left front. It's fallen off. He has backed it into the pit. They're putting the tire on. But meanwhile, the pace car again is up between 3 and 4, so they've got to hustle. Still working on the automobile. They are tied in the lug nuts now.
Well, he was just trying to get out of the pits. It looked like in front of the pace car a minute ago after a lengthy stay. So the field now comes by, and he will not make it out again. So it's a possibility he could have lost. We'll check with the scoring and see. But he is now being shown 2 laps down. A tough break for Michael Waltrip, the defending champion here of this 200-lap event.
Boy, how quickly things can change. But there's a man having a good night. He had a good night a week ago, his first win ever. That's Steve Grissom driving the car number 31 as they get the Spraker car on the wrecker now and headed back towards the pit area.
Left side tire. Still got to put a right rear and a left rear on the damn thing.
We're listening in to Michael Waltrip.
Pace car is just going out on the racetrack. The pace car is going in 3. I'm 2 laps down, Fryer.
Talking to Mike Fryer, his engine builder.
Well, he's a couple of laps down to Michael Waltrip in the Country Time car. We'll see if we can get a word with him, Jerry.
Let's check in with Michael Waltrip. Michael, this is Jerry Punch at ESPN. Michael, a tough break in the pits there. What happened a minute ago?
Well, Jerry, probably not the best time to comment on what happened. You know, I was real proud of my team, or my car, the way it was handling. We were coming up through there. Seemed to have screwed up here.
Tough break for Michael Waltrip. He pulls the car back behind the wall, and that's those things happen. Apparently, they thought there's so much noise, and you've heard Benny Parsons trying to talk in the pits over that rumble and noise here in the infield as the cars go by, and apparently a miscue in the pits. They were unable to get the lug nuts fastened on the left front, and Michael trying to get back out without losing a lap, and they have a tough break here for the defending Kroger NASCAR 200. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I'm with, I guess, a dejected Rick Mass is the best I could say. Just know where to go, Rick?
One of those lap cars we have trouble with every week. Jumped in front of me off of 4, and I was on the gas and run up on him. We got ready to go into 1. He motioned me to the outside. He went to turn down. About the time he turned down, he just stopped, and there it was. I hit him. We turned and we wrecked.
You look like you had a winner tonight.
Well, I thought I was pacing myself, but I guess not.
Rick, better luck next time.
Well, you know, the Raven Boats Buick's been fast for the last 3 months. Just stuff like this keeps happening. We'll be okay.
Jerry, back to you.
A tough break for Rick Mass. We are under caution for the 5th time today. Showing the way, car number 31, 27-year-old Steve Grissom from Gadsden, Alabama. Stay tuned. Lots of laps to come. We'll be back.
If you love cars, you'll love
Steve Grissom in car number 31, of course, leading the race. And Jerry, he didn't pit during this caution. In fact, he last pitted on lap 65. Now, he can make it as far as fuel is concerned, but we wonder about the tires on that car. Most of the other cars behind him have new tires on their cars, and normally, as we said earlier, those new tires run better here.
Well, Steve Grissom has a fellow working in his pits by the name of Steve Bird. And many of you people who follow the Busch Series racing remember that Steve Bird, or Birdie as he is known, was the crew chief last year when young Rob Moroso became the youngest ever Busch Series national champion at age 21. And Bird, who left the Moroso team after Rockingham this year on the Winston Cup Tour and decided to come back to Busch Series racing, now works for that car number 31, the Grissom Racing Enterprises effort, the Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile. And Grissom has been impressive since Bird came on board.
Yes, he has. He has been gaining every week. Here's Ernie Irvin, who is running in second place. Now, he also chose not to pit during this caution, neither did the car number 56, which is being driven, of course, by Dave Mater.
Dave Mater III now taking over for Ronald Cooper, the family-owned operation there. And that's LD Ottinger, the Detroit Gaskets car, the Ron Parker-owned machine. And that, of course, is Davey Johnson, the car number 26, the rookie driver from Imperial, Pennsylvania, who qualified on the front row. He is being shown in the 4th spot.
LD Ottinger, of course, a lap down. There's Davey Allison right behind him. Davey is also a lap down, running in 25th position.
Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons. Benny?
I'm Jerry. I'm with Ronnie Silver, the crew chief on Michael Waltrip's Country Time Pontiac. What happened? Just miscommunication?
No, we had it out. We had it all figured out what we were going to do for the 4-tire change. The boy on the rear, his socket was either wore out or something that wouldn't take the lug off. And no matter what you did, it wouldn't take it off. So we had to put those back on. And then when he came back, the boy went to do the left side while my guy's still doing the right rear, and he took the left front off. We had to let him down go to try to keep him getting lapped. The left front come off.
Had some problems.
The worst thing, I guess, pit stop that ever happened.
Jerry, some problems down here.
Tough break for Michael Waltrip here in the lap set after past the halfway point. We'll be back after this from our sponsors.
Mom, dinner here tonight. No problem.
Got a lot of things to clean. You need Simple Green for bathrooms, kitchens, appliances, carpets and upholstery. Non-toxic, biodegradable, concentrated Simple Green cleans just about everything. Simple Green, the only cleaner you'll ever need.
Nothing beats it.
Nothing beats it.
Nothing beats it.
The one and only.
Nothing beats it.
The clean, the crisp, the cold. The king of beers.
Nothing beats a Bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
Problem in the pits. Now showing 2 laps down. Those cars running single file behind Steve Grissom. Ernie Irvin's got to be sitting back there pounding the wheel.
He just has nowhere to go as Michael Waltrip now pulls on the inside of L.D. Ottinger and makes the pass. Here comes Irvin. He just drives her deep down on the inside. Didn't stick too good for him, but I believe he will be able to get around L.D. Ottinger.
Well, I think Michael Waltrip kicked the door open and Ernie snuck through before L.D. Ottinger could close it. And now the car number 56, Dave Mader, trying to get to the inside. His car will not stick on the bottom of the track and slides back up in behind Ottinger.
Mader running in the 3rd position.
That's the 4th and 5th place cars back there you saw a moment ago. That was Presley in the car number 59. Back up front, the lead car is Grissom, and he's getting a lot of heat now from the lap car of Michael Waltrip. Pontiac of Waltrip trying to get to the inside, and one car spinning. That is Mader. The 3rd place car has looped it through the infield, and he is dodging light poles, spinning it around in the dark. Caution flag comes out, and Michael Waltrip will get by Steve Grissom and get one of his laps back. A great move by Michael Waltrip as Mader now finds his way back through the infield, taking a couple of passes. Agricultural Racing back up off the grass. There is Mader, the 4-time short track champion for the All-American Challenge Series. And that car was running in 3rd spot. And there's Michael Waltrip, the other man who just had the fans on their feet as he was able to get one of his 2 laps back.
And don't count him out. A lot of racing yet to go. More than 50 laps remaining. And Michael Waltrip in about a 10-lap period here has gotten one of those laps back. So, hey, he might get that other one back and be right back in the thick of this thing.
Let's see if we can find out what happened to Dave Mader now. He was in 3rd place trying to get underneath the lap car of Ottinger.
And it looked like they touched just a little bit, Jerry, as they came off of turn 2. And around he went down on the inside. The field goes by on the outside. And once he hits that grass, that wet grass, not a whole lot he can do but just hold on and hope he doesn't get into the fence. At least there is a lot of room down there on that grass before they get down to a fence.
Well, there are no spectators allowed in the infield here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and they're just the pit areas and a wide open spaces and a few cameramen, a few of our ESPN cameramen doing the dipsy doodle down there trying to dodge the Buick, but a great job. And now tell me, as a driver, do you really have your eyes open when this kind of thing's happening in the pits, in the infield?
Well, you know, a lot of times you'll hear drivers say, well, I just closed my eyes and hope for the best. There wasn't a great deal that he could do because that grass is so wet. And, of course, these tires without tread on them don't get a lot of traction, so it makes it very tough to do much about it. How about it, Benny Parsons?
Hey, I know he had his eyes closed. I never heard my life spun out that I didn't close my eyes. Hey, guys, you don't want to see what's going to happen. Believe me, when you see light poles and other cars and walls coming, you don't want to see it. I mean, when all that stuff, you close your eyes and just hope for the best.
Well, you wear out the eyelid muscles on some of those spins, and they're back on the racetrack. Dave Mader hoping to get the car back up. We've got a lot of laps of racing to come your way. A whole lot of racing left. We'll be back after this.
You may not have thought about getting a Sears Die-Hard battery.
Leads him down to turn 1. Grissom in front of the lap car of L.D. Ottinger. Ottinger's the car number 2. That is the Oldsmobile for Ottinger, the Oldsmobile for Grissom. And Dale Jarrett has spun. He has looped his car around. He has come into contact. Coming up out of turn 2, the car number 32, Leslie's Crunch car has been tagged, and the former victim, they're racing back to the line as the caution flag comes out once again. They're trying to get a lap back, and Ottinger can't quite do it.
Well, Dale Jarrett was running in the 7th position, got tagged going into turn 1 and looped the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. We'll see how much damage is done to it if he's going to be able to continue on around.
Looks like some sheet metal hanging off the rear. There is Dale Jarrett. And his car, as Ned said, sustaining some damage in the left rear. John Irvin and the crew will be going to work on that. Let's take a look, see if we can see exactly what happened on the restart.
Okay, you can see Jarrett down on the inside, and there's Morgan Shepherd. Looked like tapped him just a little bit as Jarrett was trying to move around Michael Waltrip, and around Jarrett went.
Well, Morgan Shepherd was the 8th place car. Jarrett was 7th on that restart, and they were really 2 abreast trying to get through a very, very tight turn. There is Dale Jarrett. His car now back in the pack. Under caution here for the 8th time today. The record for cautions in a race for Busch Series 17, set earlier in the year up at New Hampshire. And of course, we are halfway there, but I think we're going to run out of laps. We've had a lot of exciting action here tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Laps winding down, safety car leading Steve Grissom, and that team has really come together. We will hold the camera here as you watch your favorite cars and drivers come by. You'll sort of get an idea of where they are in relation. There is the car number 9 of Morgan Shepherd. Ironhead, they call him, Dale Earnhardt.
Kenny Wallace in car number 36.
Dale Jarrett had just spun. Some of the drivers who have had to park it had tough luck. Tommy Houston, who had a tough night, of course, and will drop down on the points. Jack Ingram, the 5-time champion. The rookie, Ed Ferree. Jeff Burton driving the Sam Ard effort. And Larry Pearson, who was subbing for the injured Darrell Waltrip. Back up front, and that is Steve Grissom showing the way. And here is Dale Jarrett making his way on the pit road. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, they have some damage on the left rear of the automobile. Part of the quarter panel is dragging the racetrack. Also, they're making a chassis adjustment on the right rear. Evidently, the car a little bit too tight because they took a little bit of bite out of the car. Back on the pits, back on the racetrack, out of the pits.
And the Goo Goo Clusters Buick going by. That's Davey Johnson and Jimmy Hensley coming in. Now, Hensley's car was not handling like he would have liked it to, although he had worked his way back up to 5th place, and he has made a pit stop. There are 17 cars in the lead lap. We have an Oldsmobile leading the race here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The manufacturer standings, that's Steve Grissom, who won last week at Pulaski, showing the way. 1990 wins, Ned. A good effort by Pontiac.
Yes, they're having very good success on this circuit. Certainly much better success than they're having in the Winston Cup Series.
For the 1 win, that Mark Martin coming at Myrtle Beach just after Mark's outstanding effort at Daytona. And there is Pete Babb indicating the yellow flag restart here. He's getting the cars lined up for the restart on the short track. And Chuck Bown, the highest running Pontiac. That's an Escafé Pontiac. And you know if he's not going to lead it, he'll be in the top 5. And he's being shown in 4th spot.
Of course, he's one of the reasons that Pontiac is at the top of the heap as far as the car manufacturer's points are concerned with those 5 wins so far this year.
He could make it 6. We're going to go green as the laps are winding down. It will be 47 laps to go here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stop number 21 on the $4 million Busch Tour. And the youngster Steve Grissom trying to hold them off the crowd on their feet. Jam-packed house at Indianapolis Raceway Park as the green flag waves. And they're 3 abreast, beating and banging to turn 1.
Well, most of them get singled out as they go into the turn, but I'll tell you, you wondered if they were going to make it the way they headed into the turn.
Not a single turn signal in the bunch, man. They just all sort of trying to blend
Look
in.
at Earnhardt go. Making a good move there.
Well, he's running out of laps to intimidate folks, so he's got to get busy there. And now making a move, doing a little intimidating of his own. That's the black and orange number 75, Ernie Irvin. He moves underneath the lap car of Ottinger. Irvin now to within a car length and a half of the lead car of Steve Grissom.
Well, he's beginning to put a little pressure on him. Has he been holding something back?
Back in the pack, Morgan Shepherd, the 3-time winner here in the Chevrolet, going 3 abreast underneath Chuck Bown. Shepherd in the car number 9 to take this Pete car. The Pontiac of Chuck Bown just to his right side, and Shepherd is literally hanging that car on the ragged edge. And now up front, they're waging war for the lead.
Yes, Ernie Irvin, a little sheet metal contact as they come off at turn 4. Let's see, can he do it? He leans on him going into turn 1. Can they make it? He continues to lean on him as he comes off at turn 2, but Grissom holding on to the outside groove and holds on to the lead.
Well, they say in the movies, rubbing is racing, and they're racing here at IRP tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, there is racing everywhere.
I don't know why people bought seats tonight, because no one is sitting down. They literally are on their feet here watching as Earnhardt now tries to make a move inside of Robert Presley. Out of turn 2, the Goodwrench Chevrolet moving inside. The car number 59, he makes the move.
Yeah, pretty impressive pass there. He just got down there and drove right on by on that tough inside groove.
The drivers have been told by their crew members laps are winding down. No need for tires, no need for fuel. Just hold the pedal down and turn left. Let's make an impressive show. Now Earnhardt on the move. Now that's Michael Waltrip in the car number 30. He had gotten one of his laps back a minute ago and now is trying to make a move inside of Ernie Irvan.
Yeah, he'd like to pass Ernie and then of course get up there and pass Steve Grissom, then hope for another caution, and he would be back in the lead lap and back in the thick of the battle.
Morgan Shepherd is on the move. That is the car to the left of your screen. The car number 9, the Texas Pete colors. Shepherd starting back in the pack, not having a good qualifying effort. That car back in 19th spot.
Well, there's Grissom out front, but look at Morgan Shepherd back there in the yellow car. He tried to make it 3 deep, but that didn't quite work.
Morgan Shepherd was trying to mix it up with Michael Waltrip. He lost some spots now. Michael Waltrip, that car is a lap down, but he won this race a year ago from the pole. Looked to be very impressive in the Ronnie Silver prepared car. Morgan Shepherd now trying to move to the inside of Kyle Petty. Now Shepherd has peeled some of that sheet metal loose in the front of that Chevrolet Lumina he's driving. A little bit of flapping sheet metal on the right side. The fender after that contact a minute ago with the Pontiac of Michael Waltrip. Now you see some of the sheet metal as he's trying to make a move inside of Kyle Petty.
And there's Dale Earnhardt trying to move up on the outside of him. 3 great drivers, Winston Cup drivers, battling it out here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Shepherd hanging tough down on the inside, but he hasn't been able to get around Kyle Petty. Now, is he going to lose a position? No, he's back up there. Now he gets traction. They bang together a little bit coming off the turn. They're banged together there again, but Shepherd gets the pass. But Kyle Petty's not going to give up that easy. Gives him a little love tap there on the back bumper. But Shepherd now, look at the sheet metal on the right front of that Chevrolet, but still going strong.
That's the 4th, 5th, and 6th place cars, and there's the leader, of course, Steve Grissom, showing the way. Laps are winding down. He is trying to win it at IRP. A few laps left. It's going to get hot. Stay tuned.
You may not have thought about getting a seat.
Indianapolis Raceway Park. Dale Earnhardt trying to make a move inside of Kyle Petty. That would be for the 5th spot. Kyle Petty trying to hold off Earnhardt. Kyle's Pontiac and Earnhardt in the Chevrolet. 2 Winston Cup veterans vying for 5th place. Less than 40 laps to go. In fact, 34 laps remaining here in the NASCAR Kroger 200 at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Well, Earnhardt tried him down on the inside like Morgan Shepherd did, but he was not able to make that pass. And here's a spin. Jimmy Hensley, car number 25, spinning around. We'll watch from the inside as he tries to refire the car. Apparently the engine went dead. The caution is out. And now he gets it fired, gets it in gear, and heads around, but the caution is out.
What a great shot from inside our CarQuest cage cam there. You saw Hensley. You could see nothing out of the windshield, and he had simply tried to push the car to get it refired. And through all the smoke, he put the car back in gear, clutched it, got it fired, and has moved away.
And here's a car that has spun out up in turn 3, the car number 34. Of course, that's Jack Sprague. Apparently came in pretty good contact with someone, Jerry, and then spun in turn 3. The caution was already out.
He is a rookie competitor. That's the Frank Cece racing car, that the John Junk prepared machine that was driven last year by Jimmy Spencer. Moved on to the Winston Cup ranks. Caution flag again for the 9th time here. Let's take a look at what happened with Jimmy Hensley.
Okay, there he is, just cruising right along. And it looks like he let go of the wheel for just a moment. He was on the inside of Elton Sawyer in car number 27. And you can see his hand come off of the wheel as he grabs all the steering wheel he can get, Jerry, as the car is spinning around. Of course, he didn't want to cross his arms over, and we see him reach down for the gear shift. And then the car died, where he's looking now for the starter to refire the engine. And there he is on the track, ready to go again.
Well, textbook spin. They tell you in the driver's meeting, the NASCAR drivers are told, don't try to turn the car back up into traffic. It'll come across the racetrack and you'll end up getting T-boned. And he didn't. He listened very well and got the car refired. Our leader is Steve Grissom. An impressive performance for this young driver. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, Steve Bird, the crew chief on the Steve Grissom automobile, told us a moment ago they don't want to see caution flags. And he was right. In about 2 laps, as he said, he pulled away from Ernie Irvan by what? Half a straightaway. And guess what? Another caution flag comes out. Steve Grissom looks like he's got the car to win, but he needs a break.
If he can just keep it green for a few more laps here, just 32 laps to go, he may be able to get his second win in a row. 2 wins in 2 weeks for Steve Grissom. He's showing the way here. This capacity crowd enjoying every lap of it, as you will when you stay tuned. We'll be back.
Days of Thunder, this summer's most exciting movie. Now get a rare on-location look as NASCAR goes Hollywood. It's an insider's look at auto racing and movie making with exciting behind-the-scenes footage available only on this ESPN home video. NASCAR Goes Hollywood, the making of Days of Thunder, only $19.95. Order yours today. Call 1-800-255-8300.
Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page guide to understanding money and markets. That's 13 weeks of the Journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, now for only $34. Call toll-free 800-832-8700. Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-832-8700 now.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, 174 of 200 laps complete. Steve Grissom, Ernie Irvan, Chuck Bown, Kyle Petty, and Dale Earnhardt in the top 5. We'll show you 6 through 10. Presley Wallace, Resendez, Elton Sawyer, and Ed Berrier. Morgan Shepherd, who had been running so well after starting back in the pack in the Texas Pete car, was up to 4th place, has had his troubles here. He was in the pits a moment ago for an unscheduled stop, and you see that sheet metal on the front of the car, Ed. They had their trouble.
Yes, they did. They had to pull that sheet metal away. The NASCAR officials looked at it and said it was rubbing, and the green flag is out now. Shepherd back in the field at the back of the pack.
Green flag waves, the 9th caution flag of the day over, and Shepherd is in the back of the pack. Will have to hurry if he's going to get back up front. They're 2 by 2 through the first couple of turns here as the laps are winding down. There's Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt being shown in the 5th spot. Back up front, the car number 31, that's the leader, that's Steve Grissom, but behind him, the Pontiac is on the move. That is Michael Waltrip, who was 2 laps down, is now still a lap down, but would love to have a chance to get around, and Waltrip drives it right against the wall in turn 1.
Boy, he's trying his best to get back in the lead lap. He might have it this time, Jerry. Let's see. He's going to have to lean on him a little bit, but he don't mind doing that because he knows how important it would be if another caution should come out. If he could get back in the lead lap, but not this time.
Michael Waltrip, 4 Busch Series wins, 2 this year. He won at Richmond, Virginia after sitting on the pole, and he won at Dover, Delaware. Driving the car number 30. Now that's the second place car, number 75. The black car in your screen, that's Ernie Irvan. So Grissom the leader, then the lap car of Waltrip, then Irvan. Now making a move on the inside. Car number 42, that's the battle for 3rd spot. Kyle Petty takes the move inside of Chuck Bown.
Now Kyle Petty has a little fresher tires on his car than does Ernie Irvan and Steve Grissom. Michael Waltrip has fresher tires than any of them, and it looks like it's working for him. But will he be able to get around Grissom and get back in the lead lap?
There's Chuck Bown, and there's Earnhardt back in the 5th spot. Michael Waltrip is going to have to hustle less than 25 laps. It'll be 21 laps to go. 179 complete that time by everyone jostling for position. Billy Standridge in the car number 47, battling along with beside the car number 99, former series champion Tommy Ellis. And Michael Waltrip is off the pace. His car slowing in the backstretch. His car has dropped down to the picture you see to the right of your screen, a puff of smoke. Grissom, your leader, he was being hurried by Waltrip, and now he is pulled away, and there a lot of smoke coming from the car and a little bit of backfire. Waltrip's day is done.
Yeah, I think it's all over for him tonight. He made a gallant run, and after getting 2 laps down because of a miscue in the pits, that is all over now.
What an effort for Michael Waltrip, and what an effort for this youngster. Car number 31, Steve Grissom. who had not had a Busch Grand National Series win until last week at Pulaski County Speedway in Dublin, Virginia. Sat on the pole, went on to win it there. This would be the biggest win of his career if he can hang on. That's Ernie
And
Irvin.
there's trouble in turn 1. Dale Jarrett, I believe, has spun, and there's a car spinning off of turn 2 on the backstretch. That's Davey Johnson and Jimmy Hensley spinning around again there.
Patty Moise also involved up there, and the car number 44 of Bobby Labonte. So 4 or 5 cars spinning up in turns 1 and 2. Dale Jarrett has hit one of the ball. There's the Hensley car, and here's the Bobby Labonte machine. Now the grass very, very slippery from rains earlier today. Labonte trying to get his car. He's got it fired, but he just can't get any traction in the grass to get back, and the field is passing by. Tough break for Labonte.
Yes, it is. Of course, he's very high in the point standings, in 3rd place, as a matter of fact. Just can't get traction. You can see the rear wheel spinning on the car, and there could have been oil going into that turn from the car of Michael Waltrip. We saw the smoke coming from that car, although there was a lot of cars running real close together when they went into the turn, but a lot of them spun down there, and there could have been oil from the Michael Waltrip car.
A lot of cars slipping and sliding down there, bringing out the 10th caution flag of the day. Finally, Bobby Labonte gets the car back down the back straightaway. There's our leader, the front 2 cars. That's Grissom and Irvin. Steve Grissom, 2 IRP starts. He finished 24th in 88 and 6th in 89. And 10 caution flags. Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons.
Steve Bird, more and more caution flags, huh, bud?
Them cautions are killing us here. We need 5 laps without getting past, then we can pull away from them. And these caution flags are killing us here. I don't know if we can do it or not, Benny. We're just going to try the best we can.
Steve Grissom had not won a race until last week. What, winning agrees with you or what?
Well, I don't know. You know, everybody likes to win, Benny. We just got a good combination, and it's working real good, you know.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Benny.
Well, whether he wins or not, he has had an impressive run tonight, and I think he certainly should be proud of his effort. There's Davey Johnson, one of the cars that spun back there. Let's check in again down in turn 1 for this 10th caution flag. Ned, let's see what happened inside Hensley's car.
Well, we're inside of Hensley's car. There had been a spin behind it, but you see a car gets loose in front of him, and then Jimmy's car gets loose, and you can see him working that steering wheel once again. See the smoke coming from the tires while he was still on the pavement, and then he got down in the grass, shifted her up in gear, got it to going again.
Boy, he looked so relaxed, that left leg jumping in the clutch. He just put it back in gear and drove away. Capacity crowd on hand for the waning laps here at the NASCAR Kroger 200. Steve Grissom is going to try to hold them off. Stay tuned. We'll see if he can do it.
One Top Motor Oil announces one top guarantee.
Order week at the lowest price ever. Call 1-800-354-6100.
10 caution flags tonight here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and a young man who has matured tremendously in the past couple of weeks, 27-year-old Steve Grissom from Gaston, Alabama. He will lead them back to the green flag. You heard Steve Bird tell Benny Parsons they need 5 laps of green flag racing action. They need to be able to hang on for 5 laps, and then their tires will come in and they can pull away. Ernie Irvin behind him in the car number 75 to the right of your screen. He knows he must get him in the next 4 or 5 laps if he's to have a chance, Ned.
Yes, and he is moving in as they go into turn 3. You can see him moving in closer and closer. But Grissom gets a good jump off of turn 4. Holds on to the lead, but Irvin putting the pressure on him.
Ernie Irvin driving the Yukon Renault Oldsmobile, the Charlie Henderson-owned car that won on ESPN last year at Bristol, Tennessee, with Rick Wilson aboard. He's moving in a half a car length now in turn 3. Grissom is going to try to hang on. Laps are winding down, and Ernie Irvin knows he's got about 3 laps to catch him, or Grissom will pull away.
Well, Grissom's tires apparently have not seated in the way he wants them yet. And, of course, having somebody that close on your bumper and maybe giving him a little tap every once in a while doesn't help the situation. And he almost hit the wall that time. Boy, he got very close to the wall on the outside. Here now, Irvin trying to move him down on the inside as Grissom goes high. Gives him a little bit of running room, but Grissom has the preferred groove off of turn 4.
Steve Grissom using every inch of racing asphalt here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The capacity crowd on their feet as laps are winding down. It'll be 10 to go this time by. 10 laps as they come in, and the car number 9 of Morgan Shepherd calls it an evening. Sheet metal, a tough break for the 3-time NASCAR Kroger 200 winner. Back up front, Pete Babb holds up 2 hands, 10 laps to go, and now Grissom's car seems to be running a little bit better.
Yeah, I think he settled down a little bit, Jared. The tires have come in for him. He is able to make a better line around the racetrack. You see him pull away a little bit as he comes off of the turn that time. The car didn't kick out as much as it has before. Here's a battle for the third position. Kyle Petty running in third, Chuck Bown running in fourth. So Bowen wants to get up there and try to get as many points as he possibly can. Of course, he has a good lead already, but he'd like the position. But Kyle Petty now holding on to third.
Pair of Pontiacs there battling for the third spot. That is Kyle Petty in the car number 42, the split fire spark plug car. The Ted Conderon machine, and of course the Hensley Racing effort, the Nescafe car of our current Grand National point leader, Chuck Bown. And Chuck gives him a little bit of a nudge. Lets him know he's back there and the laps are winding down.
And not too far in front of them are the leaders, so they're certainly in contention. Kyle goes high, loses a little bit of time there, but Bound not able to take advantage of it.
It's got to be getting a little slick out there. We've had 10 caution flags and some speedy dry on the track. The tires are getting a little worn, and now Chuck Bound really has his hands full. Twisting that steering wheel, nearly losing control out of turn 4.
Kyle's certainly protecting that high line that has worked well for most of the drivers tonight. And you can see they're not very far behind the first and second place cars.
That's the lead 2 cars there. The 31 car of Steve Grissom. Then comes Ernie Irvin, and only about 5 car lengths back to that battle between Petty and Bound. Kyle Petty and Chuck Bound. They headed to turn 1, and they're running them down, Ned.
Yes, they are. Dale Earnhardt not in the picture there, but he is running in 5th place. Kenny Wallace running in the 6th position.
Laps are winding down here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Steve Grissom trying to hold off Ernie Irvin. 5 laps to go, that time by. 5 to go. Steve Grissom hoping to pick up the biggest win of his young Busch Grand National Series career. The 9th annual Kroger NASCAR 200, a purse of over $109,000. And here's the battle for third spot.
Chuck Bound continues to put the pressure and the bumper every once in a while to Kyle Petty. Bound is a little faster, I believe, than Kyle, Jerry. If he can get around him, he might be able to get up there and challenge those two for the front position, but he has not been able to get around Kyle Petty. That would be 5 points if he could move around Kyle Petty. And, you know, towards the end of the season, that could make a big difference. And, of course, I'm sure there is quite a bit of difference in the money from 3rd to 4th place as well.
3 laps to go, that time by. And Earnhardt now beginning to make his move. He will come in the picture as Chuck Bound can't quite get the nose of his Nescafe Pontiac beneath him, but now he slips a little bit, and Earnhardt is on his rear bumper.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground right there in that move, but look how quickly he moves back up on Kyle Petty. Kyle now sort of protecting the inside line with just 2 laps to go.
It'll be white flag this time for Steve Grissom, the 27-year-old driver from Gadsden, Alabama. The battle really heating up. Chuck Bound has to make his move. There is Grissom and Irvin, the front 2 cars. Here's the battle, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That is Kyle Petty. Back up front, here is Steve Grissom coming out of turn 4 to take, and Kyle Petty spinning sideways out of turn 4, and Chuck Bound let him know he was there. No yellow flag. Kyle gets the car righted, and he will head back on the racetrack. White flag is waving to the field as they come by.
So Steve Grissom will get the checkered flag this time around. He knows there was trouble on the track, but he's still coming down wide open, and you can see his crew as he gets the checkered flag.
Boy, and they happy. Earnhardt just sliding by, gets by. The car number 63 of Chuck Bound, and Earnhardt, a gallant effort, but that's the man that they are very proud of tonight. And the crew celebrating there at Stevesburg. Yes, Steve, you got to be happy after winning last week at Pulaski, and they come back for the biggest win of the year of this young man's career. Ernie Irvin pulls up alongside and waves and gives his congratulations to Steve Grissom, an impressive young man, and had a tremendous effort. And here's Earnhardt, who ended up finishing in 3rd spot in the car number 3. Chuck Bound finishing in 4th, all unofficially, of course. And Chuck Bound and Kyle Petty had a great battle with a few laps to go, Ned.
Well, they did, but they got together, and Kyle Petty went around, and so Kyle winds up at the end of the field. Those on the lead lap. I think there were 13 cars on the lead lap.
Let's take a look again at what happened up there with those 2 laps to go, Ned.
Okay, Kyle running in 3rd place. Chuck Bound gets into him a little bit as they come off at turn 4, and Kyle spins down to the inside as Earnhardt stays on it. right behind the car number 63 of Chuck Bowen. And then when they come back to the start-finish line, as we see Kyle continue to spin there, well, then Earnhardt is able to pull around and take over the 3rd position.
That spin will actually end up costing Kyle 10 positions. He was running in 3rd spot and now will be shown finishing unofficially in the 13th position. A very happy Steve Grissom will be set to talk to our Benny Parsons when we come back after this.
You don't have to worry when rain keeps pouring down, 'cause your home can take it whatever comes around.
Introducing Olympic Water Guard for wood, the one water sealant that goes beyond water repellency to resist sun damage, fight mildew, and strengthen wood.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
Excuse me. Are those Bugle Boy jeans that you're wearing?
Why, yes. They are Bugle Boy jeans.
Thank you.
What makes a Quaker State engine so tough? One tough motor oil. And being tough takes more than just talking tough. There's a brand that says it's been engineered for smaller engines. Well, Quaker State has been tested tough for small engines in Japan, in Europe, and in America. In fact, Quaker State has toughed out the most demanding specs for every size engine in every size car sold in the U.S. What makes any size Quaker State engine so tough? Quality engineered Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
You may not have thought about getting a Sears Die-Hard battery until you've had a little time alone to think about it. Die-Hard, more power when you need it most.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the 9th annual Kroger NASCAR 200 is history, and Steve Grissom has won it. Let's go down trackside for our Sears Road Handler Winter Circle interview and Benny Parsons. Benny?
You can tell we're in Indianapolis. Look at the wreath of flowers around our winner, Steve Grissom. Steve, you won one last week. Now tonight, what are you going to do, win the rest of them?
I don't know. We're sure having fun trying, though, Benny. But, yeah, I'll tell you, I just can't say enough for this crew. These guys, they worked super hard, adjusted the car today. We went out in practice and had run about 30 laps today without stopping. And, boy, I tell you, the car was super all day. And when that green flag dropped, we just kept on trying to run the pace that we talked about before the race, and got out of traffic there and called an early caution, come in, took on tires and gas, and track position was definitely important here tonight. And I tell you, my hat's off to Steve Bird. He made the call, come in pit early, and I tell you, that's what won the race for us.
Weren't you a little bit concerned out there staying out, and all those guys behind you stopping, making pit stops and getting new tires?
I'm not going to lie, that thought ran across my mind. But, yeah, I tell you, our car, it seemed to run better after the green flag, after about 5 green laps. It just kind of took a little while to hook up. But, you know, I tell you, when it hooked up, it was super.
Folks, check the paper. This guy might win all the rest of them. Jerry?
He might do it, Benny Parsons. He has won 2 in a row as his capacity crowd files in to see some of their favorite drivers and crews. They're getting ready to depart here. Let's take a look at the top 20, how they finished. Steve Grissom, of course, the winner. A gallant effort by Ernie Irvin. Dale Earnhardt coming back with an outstanding run in 3rd. Chuck Bown in 4th, and Robert Presley in 5th. As we look at the rest of the top 20, Ned Jarrett, those last few laps, some of the best short track racing I've seen in a long time.
I'll tell you, all 200 laps was very good, Jerry. We expected a good show here tonight, and we certainly got one. 15 drivers finishing in the lead lap here tonight.
Of course, Kyle Petty back in 13th there after that spin with just 2 laps to go while battling with Chuck Bown. He was running in 3rd spot, and now 16 through 20. Davey Johnson and Davey Allison. Davey Johnson, who had trouble late in the race, but an impressive qualifying effort having started on the front row here tonight. For the 9th time, the NASCAR Kroger 200 here at Indianapolis Raceway Park played before a capacity crowd, and his fans stood for most of the evening because they were absolutely in awe of the kind of competition here that NASCAR put on. Tonight's Kroger NASCAR 200 Speed World coverage brought to you by Budweiser Beechwood Age. For that clean, crisp taste, this Bud's for you. By Bugle Boy. In jeans and casual fashions, Bugle Boy is leading the charge. And by Quaker State. The big Q is One Tough Motor Oil. One outstanding effort for Steve Grissom, a 27-year-old driver from Gadsden, Alabama. Again, for Benny Parsons in the pits and Ned Jarrett in the booth, I'm Jerry Punch saying so long from Indianapolis Raceway Park. And again, congratulations to that man, Steve Grissom, our winner.